before I ask this question, I wanted to find out in the teaching of science and math and English, was it also compulsory in Tamil schools and Mandarin schools at that time? Okay, right. So my concern is this, right? I mean, I like the idea of democratization of education. In other words, you know, whatever schools they want. And if you look at some of the what is it called? When a political party has manifestos, if you look at the manifestos of quite a number of opposition parties, they talk about national schools having to teach in all the languages, having all the religions being taught. To what extent should there be state control of this? So, for instance, in the English science being taught in only, I know of many Tamil school activists, Tamil school education activists, who do want to teach the kids maths and science in the Tamil language because they really firmly believe that they would do better in that particular language. So what I would like to urge for is not to have only one kind of position, and that's what I'm afraid of, that it will come out where it's only one formula for everyone, and in a way, to what extent does the state have control over all of this? Because if you left it to all the communities, which I think you should, to what extent does the state have control to ensure that the syllabus, there is some commonalities in the syllabus, that if you were to allow for a homeschool, and you should allow for homeschool, to what extent is homeschooling reinforcing some values that may not be common values to all, you know, that may actually be detrimental. So, for instance, it could be, you know, lessons in terrorism or hating the Americans or hating the Jews. Or I know of some homeschooling, they've taken their kids out of school because they do not want, because they feel the schools are too secular, so they want more religious classes, all of which should be choices. But I'm wondering, I'd like to ask the panelists, should the state, should the government then therefore have some control over some syllabus that should be common to everybody, you know? And also about language. You know, what is the thinking around, should English and maths only be taught in English? Or should it be a choice?
To be quite honest, I don't have these answers, because one would really need to then, if this task were put to me, so to speak, you know, then really look into those things, go to these vernacular schools and so on. And the whole issue of vernacular schools, should there be vernacular schools? Should we just you know, so it is very layered and it is very complex. I would say that there has to be a combination. I would say it has to be a multivariate rather than a singular approach. I'm not sure about, okay, let's say maths and science, schools should be given complete choice. I'm not sure about that. But I do think one needs to really look and consider the various arguments, and between community-driven organizations or initiatives and state control, there really needs to be some kind of balance. And yes, there needs to be a national syllabus that is taught to everybody. I strongly believe, for example, we all need to be able to read, speak, and write fluently in the national language, for example. Whether you're a vernacular school or not, we need that. We also, in the present state of globalization in the world, we all need to have English language. At the same time, communities need to have the choice of other languages. You know, at one time it was, pupils' own language. POL was taught in school. So if you're an Indian, you go and learn Tamil. But what if a Malay kid wants to learn? This POL, I felt, was just an extension of divide and rule. Indians go and learn Tamil. Chinese go and learn Mandarin. You know, but yeah. So the language is a big issue. But you know, some things I think, yeah, the whole country, if you hold a my card, you must speak, read, write fluently in Bahasa. The problem with vernacular schools, for example, in the one academy where I teach, a lot of the students are coming from Chinese medium schools. And here I am trying to, ask them, what do you think of ISA in a tutorial discussion? They can't speak in Bahasa. they can't speak in English. And I'm saying, okay, you speak in Chinese and somebody will translate. But you can't come into my class at 19 and not have Bahasa and not have English. How many teachers are going to go, okay, never mind. You speak in Chinese. Somebody in the class will translate, you know. So it is very complex. But yes, I think to answer your question directly, there needs to be some kind of, yeah, absolutely. And the language thing, yeah, I have an ongoing dilemma in my head about vernacular schools, for example, which I haven't resolved myself. At one time, I got very militant in my own being and said, no, we should just do away with vernacular schools. But, you know, I'm changing that now. So.